Across the NFL, Hayden Hurst would certainly not be one of the names that's first thought of in terms of the Cincinnati Bengals offense and all the playmakers they have. But here in Baltimore, we certainly know a lot about Hayden Hurst. We remember him as a player, the speed, the big playability. He looks a little bigger and stronger, which makes sense. He's like 4 or 5 years older since we've seen him last. On pace to have possibly his best season receiving wise if you extrapolate his 14 catches through 4 games out to a 17-game season. Certainly looks like it could exceed his 56 catches for the Falcons in 2020, his first year in Atlanta. Had 6 touchdowns that year, maybe a 65, 64% catch percentage. This year it's 14 catches on 21 targets. It's the yards per catch that are surprising to me, especially as you see some of this film I'm going to show you. I don't offer to you that Hayden Hurst is going to be the biggest weapon or the biggest threat for the Ravens, but I think one of those guys that if we can eliminate his contribution as best we possibly can, it could go a long way towards forcing Joe Burrow to focus on his main 2 weapons, which is T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I did a video about Kyle Hamilton Friday night and speculating, offering some film evidence, some video evidence of him playing against tight ends quite well. I don't know how he matches up with Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst seems to be very explosive this season, and you'll see 2 of the plays that I think kind of illustrate that. We're going to look at some of the ways they're using him. The Bengals are, I think, most dangerous when they're in 11 personnel, and I'll have a longer preview about their passing offense and some of the things they do under center Saturday morning in the live stream. This is meant to be kind of like a preview for that and to get you maybe used to some of the concepts that you're going to see. So a lot of teams are playing this Tampa 2 cover 2 zone against the Bengals, and I think Joe Burrow and some of the offense guys even talked about that a little bit after this Cowboys game. But here's Hayden Hurst. One of the things he does a lot of is line up in the slot, motions to it sometimes, and then he'll either run out-breaking routes, a little shoot route out into the flats, maybe a little out route and sit, or he'll go underneath on what I would call a Y-hide to the other side of the formation. Haven't seen a ton of these with him. Generally they're running those routes with the receivers, and Hurst is running the shoot route, or maybe he's staying in the block. So here, this first play against the Cowboys, not targeted. We'll briefly explain the Tampa 2 concept for some of you guys. Basically, it's a dead giveaway when you get the Mike linebacker running in between the hashes, carrying number 2 or 3 vertical. In this case, Hurst was number 3, but he ran the out, and 2 was Boyd, and he's running a vertical. You have a half-field safety up here. Half-field safety up here. It's a little bit of a misnomer because this Mike linebacker is technically considered the middle third. But in any case, you got a hard corner here playing the flats, a hard corner here playing the flats, a guy who's between the hash and the top of the numbers there, and between the hash and the top of the numbers there. Your basic Tampa 2 that a lot of teams are playing against the Bengals early in the season with various levels of success. All right, second play. Hurst is going to be in the slot, but you can see he's backed up off the line. Compare his alignment to the alignment on the last play. A little bit tighter to the tackle. Well, there's a reason why. He's doing that so he could slip out into the flats to the right side, to the opposite side of the formation. We call it a Y-hide in the offense that I'm familiar with. You may have different names for it. Another Tampa 2, a slightly different variation of it because you have this safety who's pretty high and this guy backside. As soon as Hurst disappears, he's only got one threat. And I think that's T. Higgins backside. I think that's who that is. But watch this Mike backer carry the vertical, or threaten to carry the threat of the vertical by number 2. And the idea is to force the quarterback to throw it over the top of the Mike and allow one or both of the safeties to recover and make a play. That's a conceptual idea, a real simplified version of it. We're talking about Hayden Hurst here. Like I said, 14 catches, only 7 yards per carry. There will be one really explosive catch and run here in this video. So again, in motion to the left. Now just to show you this not tendency based in terms of where he's going to go, he's lined up tighter to the tackle this time, still runs that hide concept. So you can see the alignment difference between that one and the previous play. It's not like the Ravens offense where we have some real serious tells based upon player alignment. Another Tampa 2 look here, or at least cover 2 look. You got 2 high safeties. Vander Esch seems to be orienting himself towards the vertical or the threat of the vertical this way. but also using his eyes to recognize that the ball's thrown out here in the flats. They get pressure on Burrow immediately. He's unable to get the ball out to Hurst. I'm just offering to you that Hurst is a guy that they're going to run this hide concept with because of his speed and his ability to get across the formation quite quickly. 11 personnel lined up as the number 3 receiver. I think this is a 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Cowboys are playing this, actually it's 3rd and 4. Cowboys are playing this version of sticks, blitz 0. You can see all the guys lined up. I would not recommend the Ravens playing this. I'm not sure how you feel about that. But Hurst's going to run, a little shoot route, and this safety's just going to run the alley. Thankfully for the Cowboys, Joe Burrow throws his football to the first read Hurst, because if he holds on to the football at all and he hits this in-breaking route, it's going to be a huge play. Because 6 is crossing his face, selling out for Hurst, because it's essentially a man concept. It's actually 3rd and 14. My apologies. I said 3rd and 4. All right, in the slot to the right-hand side again, you can see tight to the tackle, La'el Collins, the guy that some of us Ravens fans talked about possibly acquiring in the offseason free agency. Had some struggles with the Bengals early on, but I think he's playing quite well at this point. 3rd and 2, little quick to Hurst out into the flats while you got mesh being run by Higgins and Jamar Chase. And I will talk about this route by Chase a lot in the live stream tomorrow morning. The Ravens got destroyed by the backside drag by Chase in the second game up in Cincinnati. We had so many, I'm not sure how to say it, so many horrible blitz calls in that game that we continued to run. We ran it 5 times, and Jamar Chase burned us 3 times. So when you hear me go off about our blitzes against the Bills, empty formation, there's a little bit of carryover from seeing us do that in previous seasons. I think I get to do that. I think you do too as a fan. Sometimes they line them up as the backside X, and they put their 3 athletes up to one side. Higgins, Chase, and Boyd. In this case, they motion Higgins through, run a little snag concept. This is impressive. He did have some plays where he broke tackles with the Ravens, but he did not look this strong. He is fully grown at this point. Breaking 2 tackles there, powering through a 3rd guy. Pretty unbelievable. The Ravens run this concept where we used to. We're not really using it a lot this year. If you didn't check it out, I had a video come out about, where is the RPO in the Ravens offense. We're really not running it a whole lot. This is essentially an RPO. The snag fits with an RPO beautifully. There is no mesh here, but route combination-wise, what would normally occur is you'd have the running back cross the quarterback's face, a little pump fake, or a little mesh, and then either throw it to the shoot route, the flat route by Higgins, or a little snag to Hurst like he throws here. And again, just so you can see it consistently, this is a cover 2. This Mike Backer is carrying the vertical by Boyd. You have a half-field defender here and a half-field defender here. This guy is handling Higgins. In my opinion, if we play this cover 2, the area that we could get beat in, it's always a fear that your Mike Backer isn't going to play it well. And I don't know who would play this technique for us. Queen has the athletic ability to play it, but we have never used him in that way before. I feel like that would be setting him up for failure, asking him to do something that he's never done with the Ravens essentially ever before. I think Josh Bynes knows how to do it. I'm not sure that he would be physically fast enough to do it. Well, let's agree to this. He certainly wouldn't be fast enough to do this lined up at the line of scrimmage. A lot of 4-3 teams, if they're going to play a cover 2, will put their Mike Backer's feet like 6.5 yards. You can see the ball is on the 34. Why? To allow him, to get his pass read and turn and go and not be caught up here 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4 yards from the line of scrimmage, to give him a better opportunity to run directly underneath of the vertical on the inside hip, forcing the quarterback to throw it over the top. I just don't know if Bynes can do it from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint, and a recognition standpoint. Absolutely. It seems as if the league is deciding that Tampa 2 is what you play against the Bengals. The unfortunate thing, fortunately for the Bengals, not the Bills. Fortunately for them, the more they see it, the more they're going to adjust to it, and they're going to have quicker reactions to it. This is not Tampa 2. They're bringing a safety down, and you're going to get Higgins on this dig. Hurst stays in to block. Little play action under center. There was a lot of complaint by Bengals fans earlier in the year, and it seemed warranted that under center versus shotgun, the Bengals were quite predictable. I don't have the numbers. Like, all of their plays are not broken down in my database. I have the possessions, but I just don't have time to go and break down every single play in terms of run, pass, under center, run, pass, and the shotgun. I'm sure we'll get that information at the beginning of the game Sunday night. Great route design. You're not always going to get, him going out in a route. And in this case, they pretty much max protect it in the beginning to kind of give Burrow time to get the ball off. Hayden Hurst is going to be an option for them, if you ask me, on multiple concepts. Again, the one thing I haven't seen is I haven't seen him running like this over concept. Haven't seen him running a drag. And from this alignment here, I would not expect either of those. He's running a vertical. Essentially, if you ask me, they recognized that they were getting a lot of cover 2. So they chose to run the vertical with number 2, which is Hurst, to try to isolate Higgins up here on Gardner, even though there are some elements to this that kind of look like man. One giveaway for you that it's not man is, watch this defender here. Chase, he chases Chase on the drag. Again, that shallow drag to Chase, which is a dangerous route. And then I think it's DJ Reed, recognizes he's wrong. It's zone, so he falls back to his zone position. You have a nice little too high safety look. Not a Tampa 2. The Jets were not playing a Tampa 2. They were just playing a cover 2, and C.J. Mosley was playing a little bit deep here because it's 3rd and 10. But they've used Hurst, if you ask me, to run him, up the seam. I'm calling a seam between the top of the numbers and a hash, and really to try to occupy this defender and isolate Higgins on Ahmad Gardner, and Higgins makes an unbelievable catch. He played great against the Jets. I'll feature a lot of his plays in the Saturday morning live stream. That was incomplete, my bad. I thought it was caught. I'll feature a lot of his plays in the Saturday morning live stream. Now, one aspect of Hurst running kind of like an in-breaking route is against man here. It appears to me on this play as if Burrow just doesn't have the same level of trust as he does in Higgins, Chase, and even to a lesser extent Boyd. Because even though this defender is kind of on the inside hip, he's definitely, pushed back off the hip, and the throw is available to Burrow somewhere around in this area, as long as he can keep it away from this safety. But pressure in his face was a problem against the Cowboys. Now, why is that? Well, they got Micah Parsons. I mean, he's a monster. We don't have that guy. And so, in terms of the coverages we're going to play, are we going to get there with 4? Are we going to pressure him with 4? And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. We would need a great game from JPP or Oweh. Apparently, Houston's not going to play. It would have been wonderful if Bowser was back or Ojabo was healthy, but we know Ojabo's further out than Bowser. Going to be a tough matchup for real. And my Saturday morning live stream will kind of illustrate that. I'll also talk about the Bengals defense because, as you know, if you've watched this channel with any propensity, I'm very impressed with the Bengals defense, what they do, and they seem to have taken things to another level this year. A little quick preview tonight, Friday night. I don't know what you guys do, but I sit up and watch Ravens film, or I watch film of the upcoming opponent. In this case, decided to push this video out. I didn't think that the Hayden Hurst plays were going to be a huge part of my Saturday morning live stream preview, so I figured I would get this out as a separate video and let you guys let me know what you think of Hayden Hurst's play so far this year and my breakdown of his skills, what appears to be improved skills. I think really it's just more opportunity for real, though. I mean, he had an 82 or 81% catch rate in Atlanta last year. It was like 26 catches on 31 targets. So am I saying they should have thrown the ball to him 80 times? No. I mean, his catch percentage rate would have been lower if he got targeted more. I think it was one of those situations where he was only targeted in high percentage situations, maybe design plays where they knew he was going to be open for whatever reason. The year before in Atlanta, he had 56 catches and 6 touchdowns, like I said. So my little preview of Hayden Hurst's return to M&T Bank Stadium. Let me know what you think of my breakdown in the comment section, and if you think Hayden Hurst's impact will have much of an impact in the Week 5 game Sunday night.